Hello everyone, good evening to all. Here is the team Taylor Bird. Welcome you all for the today's session. Today we are back with a new topic that is the tenses. Before we get into this lesson, let me ask you one question, my dear friends. What is tense? Well, if you know the answer, good. If you don't know the answer, better. Because the tenses is what today's lesson is all about. Now let's get into the lesson and see what is tense. Tenses are the form taken by the verb to show the time of an action or the state of an event. Now let's see the types of tenses in English. Here is a chart that shows all the tenses. There are three times: present, past, and future, and four aspects: simple, continuous, perfect, and perfect continuous. The time and aspect combines to make all of the 12 tenses in English. Present time and simple aspect makes the present simple tense. Then we have present continuous, present perfect, and present perfect continuous. In the same way, we can make tenses with the past and future times as well. We are going to discuss all of this in this lesson. So now let's begin with the first tense, the present simple. We make the present simple tense with the subject plus verb in a present form. For example, I eat fruits daily. Robin works as a teacher. Notice that in the sentence number 2, we have works, a verb with s. In the present tense, if the subject is I, we, you, or they, we use a verb without s. If the subject is he, she, or it, we add s to the verb. Robin is a male name. It's like saying he, so we said Robin works. In the first example here, talks about habits, routines, or something that happens regularly. The second example is a fact. Robin works as a teacher. It's a fact about his life. So above are the two main uses of the present simple tense. Now let's get into the next tense, the present continuous tense. We make the present continuous tense with subject plus is, am, or are plus verb in a continuous or ing form. For example, I'm traveling right now. This sentence shows the first use of present continuous tense to talk about action happening right now at the time of speaking. It's not a general statement, it's not about my traveling habit, it's about action happening right now. This is the first use of present continuous tense. Now let's see the second use of present continuous. The second use is to talk about temporary activities. For example, Roy is learning to play the keyboard. It means Roy is taking keyboard lessons maybe twice a week. So he's in the process of learning to play the instrument. A couple more example. My brother is staying with us for a couple of days. We are all watching really interesting English series at the moment. Now let's get into the next. The third use of present continuous. The third use of present continuous is to talk about changes that are taking place. For example, English lessons on YouTube are becoming very popular nowadays. It means that the popularity of the English lessons in YouTube is increasing. Here is one more example. The price of cooking gas is increasing rapidly. So remember that the present continuous tense is used to talk about action happening right now, temporary activities, and changes that are taking place. All right, now let's see about the next tense, the present perfect tense. We make the present perfect tense with a subject plus has or have plus verb in a past participle or V3 form. For example, Ram has taught hockey to many students. Shiny has visited Paris 3 times. We have seen 2 movies this week. The present perfect tense has 2 main uses. The above example show the first use to talk about experiences. In the example number 1, It's about Ram's experience in his teaching career. Ram is still a teacher, so his career is not yet finished. It's still continuing. We can say Ram has taught hockey to many students in his career, but that's not necessary. It's understood. Similarly, Shiny has visited Paris 3 times in her life. So the time period here is Shiny's life, which is still continuing. Then we have seen 2 movies this week. In the third example, the time period is this week. Today is Friday. This week is not yet finished. We may see another 2 movies before the end of this week. So in the above examples, the time period is continuing or ongoing. Ram's career, Shiny's life, and this week. Now let's see about the second use of present perfect tense. The second use is to talk about recent actions or events. For example, I have finished my work. You can imagine a kid saying this to her mom. Well, when did she finish her work? Maybe 5 minutes before or 10 minutes before. But that's not important. The important thing here is the completion of the work. Here's one more example. Shilpa has lost her keys. We don't say when because the important thing now is Shilpa does not have her keys. Right? Now let's move to the next tense, present perfect continuous. We make the present perfect continuous tense with the subject plus have or has plus been plus verb in an ing or continuous form. If the subject is I, we, you, or they, we use have. If the subject is he, she, or it, we use has. For example, I have been waiting to see doctor for 2 hours. You can imagine that this lady saying that so that it means that she came to the clinic maybe at 5 o'clock, now it's 7 o'clock. She started waiting at 5, 2 hours now passed, and she is still waiting. So the present perfect continuous tense talks about actions that started in the past and it's still continuing. I want to alert you to a common mistake here. If you say, I'm waiting to see the doctor for 2 hours, that is not a correct sentence. You can say, right now, I'm waiting to see the doctor. When you mention amount of time like 2 hours, or when you mention the starting point like since, you must use present perfect continuous tense. All right. Now before move on to the next tense, let's see the quick recap of 4 tenses we have looked at so far. I drink coffee every morning is in the present simple tense. This tense expresses a habit or routine, something that happens regularly. I'm drinking coffee right now is in the present continuous tense. This means I'm doing this action, drinking coffee at this moment. I have drank coffee is in the present perfect tense. It focuses on the completion of the action and does not mention the exact time. I have been drinking the coffee for 10 minutes is in the present perfect continuous tense. It means that I have not finished drinking the coffee. I started 10 minutes ago and it's still continuing. All right. Hope you understand all these 4 tenses. Now let's get into the next tense, past simple. We make the past simple tense with the subject plus verb in the past form. This sentence is used to talk about completed action in the past. For example, I played hockey with my friends last Saturday. Kathy gave gifts to Lisa on her birthday. The verb in the first sentence is play. We make the past form by adding ed to it. We do this for most verbs, but some verbs have special past forms. You see that in the sentence number 2, gave. This is the past tense of the verb give. Give, gave, given. Given is the past participle or V3 form. These types of verbs are called irregular verbs. There are no rules for making past form with them, so we have to memorize the correct form. Now let's see about the next tense, present continuous tense. Past continuous tense. Here's a sentence. First, I was having dinner with my family when the doorbell rang. We are going to put this on the timeline. That side is the past, middle is now, over on that side is the future. Our sentence shows, I was having dinner with my family. This shows an unfinished or ongoing action in the past. I was in the middle of having dinner and something that happened, the doorbell rang. So the past continuous tense talks about an unfinished or ongoing action in the past. And normally we also mention another finished action that interrupted it. We make this tense with the subject plus was or were plus verb in a continuous or ing form. Thank you all. The rest of the steps will be continued by Aishwarya. Over to you, Aishwarya.
Past perfect tense. Before we talk about this tense, take a look at the past simple tense sentence. For example, when we got to the theater, the movie started. Is simple past. There are two past actions here. Got to theater and the movie started. You can see in the timeline that we got to the theater first and then right after that movie started. Then what about this sentence? When we got to the theater, the movie had started. That means movie had started first before we got to the theater. This is the past perfect tense. We make it with subject plus had plus verb in the V3 form. When we have two actions in the past, we use past perfect tense to show which actions happened first. Let's turn to our next tense, past perfect continuous. This tense is first like past perfect simple, except that the first past action is continuous. For example, I felt really tired because I had been driving all the day. So you know that I felt tired at some point in the past and that before that I had been driving that entire day. So earlier past actions was a continuous one. We make this sentence with subject plus had been plus verb ing. So remember that past perfect continuous tense is used to talk about continuous action in the past before another finished the actions. Next, recap. Simple past. I drank coffee yesterday. Is the simple past tense. I drank coffee express a finished actions in the past. That coffee is gone. Next, past continuous. I was drinking coffee this morning when I got a call from my boss. Is the past continuous tense. We see two actions. One is unfinished continuous action and another one that interrupts it. Next, past perfect tense. When I left for work, I had washed the dishes. Here, I had washed the dishes is the past perfect tense. It means I finished the washing, then after that, I left the work. Past perfect continuous. When the phone rang, I had been washing the dishes for an half an hour. So, phone rang at some point in the past, half an hour. Before I started washing the dishes was still doing that when the phone rang. Let's turn to our next simple future. This tense is a bit tricky because three or most important forms are going to present continuous and let's talk about where to use this. We use going to express plans and intentions. We make this form with a subject plus am, is or going to plus verb V1 form. For example, we are going to buy a car. That means we have a plan to buy a car. Next, I am going to start exercising regularly. If it's more than a plan, if we have made the arrangements then we use present continuous is the tense now already. And when we use it to talk about future, it is a stronger going to. For example, I am having dinner with my parents on Saturday. So, my parents and I have a plan to do it, but also we have agreed on the time and place fixed. Here is the another sentence. We are flying to Mumbai the day after tomorrow. So, let's say about the use of will. Will is used to express three things instant: decision, offer, promises. We make this form with subject plus will plus verb in the V1 form. For example, in the restaurant waiter asks, "You may I take your order?" And you say, "Yes, I will have the burger and fries combo, please." This is an instant decision. You did not plan 2 weeks ago to eat this food in the restaurant. At the time, just made the decisions now. 2. Let's move on to future continuous tense. We make the future continuous tense with a subject plus will be plus verb ing. For example, at 11 a.m. tomorrow, I will be driving to Portland. So tomorrow at 9 a.m. in the morning, I'm going to start to driving to Portland. It will take me many time to get this. But at 11 o'clock, I will be driving. So future continuous tense expresses an action that will be ongoing or that will be in progress at some point in the future. So next, future perfect tense. To understand your future perfect, let's take a situation. For example, by December, Maya will have saved $600. Let's imagine a girl, she wanted to save some money. So she is going to save $100 a month from now on. This is July. So by December, May will have $600. This sentence shows that the action saving $600 will be completed by the time. This is a future perfect tense. It's a point in the future and looks back. It talks about the completion of an action. We make this sentence with subject plus will have plus verb V3 form. Next, future perfect continuous. Now in the previous tense, the focus is on the money. Instead, we want to focus on amount of time, then we can say by December, Maya will have been saving money for 6 months. That is, she will have finished the 6 months of saving and will be continue saving money. This is the future perfect continuous tense. We use it to talk about ongoing action that will be in progress in the future and also to mention the duration of the length of that action at a particular time. We make these tenses with subject plus will have been plus verb ing. Alright, that brings us to end of this lesson. We hope you enjoy and learn from it. As always, happy learning. Thank you.